Look, it's 6 a.m. in the morning right now, and if my voice sounds a little bit stuffy, it's because I was just crying my fucking heart out watching Sonny Boy, and I don't even have the will in me to write a script right now, and because it feels impossible to put down words to describe this anime. If you haven't watched Sonny Boy, first of all, it's not gonna be major spoilers ahead. However, I can't recommend a show higher right now at this present moment. It came out like a long ass time ago, and I was making a video on like aesthetics and anime, and I was like, oh shit, this one looks cool, this one looks weird, so I decided to watch it just on a whim. I was not expecting to be this moved, and yeah, I need to talk about it. First off, I don't think this anime is perfect in its presentation. I don't think it's as clean or as professional as I would have liked it to be. However, I can't really call this anything else but a masterpiece in my mind, because I have never felt this way about watching something before, and that feeling is indescribable. I've never watched something that manages to balance so many themes. The level of ambition that this series managed to tackle is fucking literally out of this world. This anime tackles so many different ideas, so many different concepts, but all surrounding around this very simple theme of growing up, of adolescence and childhood. And it does so with such brilliant storytelling. Now, I won't be talking about the aesthetic too much because that will be in the video I'm going to release later, but the art style, the animation, the production, the music, I mean, as soon as that fucking dude at the very end of the last episode started singing the opening acoustically, I started bawling my eyes out, I won't lie. I was already tearing up beforehand, but I had to let the tears go. It was incredible, but it just really... Let me dial it in real quick. Sonny Boy feels like a love letter to childhood, but also how do I word it? Sonny Boy feels like a love letter, but also it's not the right word I'm looking for. Sonny Boy just feels like a letter to your past, your present, and your future. It's nostalgic, it's bittersweet and depressing and hopeless and isolated, but also incredibly hopeful and joyous and beautiful. There are some stunning scenes of this warmth and coziness, this sense of camaraderie that is utterly engrossing to watch, but it's also so depressing sometimes. Episode 8, I think that's the one I'm thinking about. The one with Yamabiko, the dog, is some of the saddest shit I've seen in this entire medium. I couldn't even let any tears out. I was in complete awe of that episode, how it managed to capture this crushing feeling of regrets and guilt. It was all wrapped up in like this side character we met like 2 episodes earlier, but it's done fucking masterfully. But shit, this anime goes to some weird places. The Tower of Babel episode, it is insane. The twins that kind of came out of nowhere. One thing I will say is I am completely lost on some of the imagery and some of the symbolism of what some of these episodes are trying to say in the technical writing standpoint, and I actually think that's sort of the point. It's incredibly abstract, and while I feel like, I don't know, I could, if I really delve into it, I can derive some sort of interpretation, a solid or in concrete one that I could actually write in the script. I don't think I should, if that makes sense. I don't think that's the point Sonny Boy is trying to convey, because ultimately I do think this is a story that I feel I shouldn't rewatch, if that makes sense. I want to rewatch the series really bad, like already, but I don't think it would hit the same. This first experience is untouched and also feels sort of like the point of the anime, if that makes sense. I hope that I'm playing that well. Man, I did not explain that well. I'm editing this right now. I'm realizing that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But to elaborate, like any other show out there, I think the first time you watch it is the most important and the most impactful, and probably the one that matters the most. However, I think that point really sticks to this anime in particular. Going to this one blind and having no prior knowledge of anything that happens and seeing this trippy ass experience unfold like this is it's not gonna hit on a rewatch. It will probably hit, and I probably will see a lot more nuance to the story and all its different crazy layers. But having prior knowledge on such a crazy experience probably will make it not hit as hard on an emotional level. But that's just me saying that if I rewatch it, I'll probably cry 3 times as many times as I did. And man, I mean, fuck it. The ending just happened, so I have to talk about the ending because it's that fresh in my mind. What a bittersweet, hopeful. Honestly, it is a perfect ending to this series. I feel like if it had a completely happy ending, it probably would have hit. I'm not gonna lie, but it also probably wouldn't have felt right within the context of the story. There's this depressing element in having only Nagara and Mizuho remembering the drifting while everyone else is essentially reset to faculty settings, and seeing them having to come to terms with the reality that they're in, that everything that they've gone through in the last 2 years with these people they don't remember is really fucking depressing. Honestly, it's tragic. And also it really raises question of, was the time I spent in that drifting in those 2 years really mean something when the people I experienced with aren't here in that as in they aren't here in body? Can you even derive any meaning in the experience that you just went through? Like, that is such a depressing idea to think about how all the time you spent with someone is quote unquote meaningless, but that's not what I think the series is trying to say. Fuck. I don't think that's the point the Sonny Boy is trying to get to. I think there's a lot more hope in it, which is why I was fucking sobbing near the end. Because there's a reason why Nozomi met with Nagaraga in the first place in this finale, is because there's something there that links them two together. That's also why Yamabiko and Kodama are seen together even after, but they never met in real life. I'm pretty sure they were two separate people in their own separate lives or whatever, but they're together now. And I think that just goes to show that there is something higher here other than the experiences they went through, if that makes sense. Okay, edited here, back to clarify some more. I think this idea of memory loss and Nozomi not remembering her experiences with Nagaraga and Mizuho kind of ties back into the ideas of adolescence. When I think of adolescence, I think of change, and how some people might feel like as they grow up and as they change, your loved ones or the people that you love will grow distance from you, will drift apart from you and not like you anymore. And seeing Nozomi actually have a natural inclination toward Nagaraga, and seeing again Kodama and Yamabiko having a natural inclination for each other, feels like the story's trying to say that even if you have changed, even if you are different from the person you were before teenagehood, the people that you love, the friends that you have now, will still be your friends. That's just my interpretation. Let me rephrase everything. I was yapping for like 2 minutes. I think Sonny Boy is a story about regrets and guilt and moving on. Specifically that last point, moving on. We see this with Yamabiko and Kodama, where again, Yamabiko, he feels so much guilt and regret for not opening himself up, because if he did, he would have been able to save her, which is what happened in episode 8, or what didn't happen in episode 8. And also with Nagaraga and him not opening up too, this idea that regret and guilt are what hold you back and are what prevent you from truly living your life to the fullest is an idea that's perpetuated throughout the entire story until this last episode, where I feel like these characters come to terms with that and move on. I think the old Naraga would have easily just given up like he usually does, but having seen even such a depressing sight, seeing these people that he cared for so much not remember him, he looks forward to the future. I'm trying to find the last quote right now, and he says, "Our lives are only beginning. What lies ahead will take just a little bit longer." That's anticipation. That's looking forward and moving on from the past to something else. I think that progression is fucking amazing, bro. It's amazing. And I mean, I even mentioned the escape scene that these two had. Holy shit. Not only did it look visually amazing, it had this beautiful music behind it that didn't at all fit with like the trippy vibe that I was seeing, but still managed to capture something. What was that something it captured? I can't put it into words, but it feels like foreboding release, if that makes sense. Like it was tense, it was scary, but it also felt like liberation in a way. Just incredibly trippery and incredibly mind-fucking, also so full of emotion in some way. And again, I can't describe the feeling all too well right now, but the feeling was enormous and fucking just impactful as fuck, man. Okay, I need to stop talking. It's been like 30 minutes. All in all, I think Sonny Boy is a once-in-a-lifetime experience that I think every fan of anime should watch. You might not enjoy it, and I understand that this is something that you might not enjoy. It's very abstract, it's very vague, you gotta use a lot of your brain power, and even when you use a lot of brain power, like how I still was lost like fucking 40, 50, 60, 70% of the time. Still, it's this experience, it's the vibes, the atmosphere, this pure unadulterated sense of something that you feel. You're not quite sure what you feel, but you feel that shit deep into your fucking soul. And that's why I think Sonny Boy is a masterpiece. I use that word very, very sparingly because, again, I don't think it's perfect. I don't think it exactly fits the parameters of how I would usually describe a masterpiece to be. But that's just the feeling that I have right now, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I can't, in good faith, not give this anime a 10 out of 10. And I apologize if you made it to the end of this video and was expecting like a fully fleshed out video essay. There's plenty of shit you can watch out there probably. I'm looking at my YouTube page right now and two-hour video, 30-minute video. I'm finna watch that shit like tomorrow. But it's late as shit right now and I have to go to bed. And I honestly, like, I probably will sit up and look staring at my ceiling for like a good like 30 minutes before I go to bed. There's so much that is here. And yeah, I just realized I was giving a review or giving a recommendation as if I didn't just spoil every bit of the fucking anime. Why the fuck did I do that? I hope this video never comes out because I am fucking delirious right now. And I was delirious, so I went to bed, and here I am the next day, still unable to stop thinking about this anime. Easily the most complex, the most layered, and the most thought-provoking anime I've ever seen. It probably lands somewhere in my top 10, I won't lie to you. It's probably recency bias, but that is truly, from the bottom of my heart, I truly believe that. And as for how my thoughts evolved across this night and day, much of it is the same. I don't think this is a piece of work that's meant to be understood to its fullest extent, but rather interpreted in personal. I think everyone watching this video will have a different interpretation on the experiences that they went through while watching this, because that's really the point. It's the experience. Art is an experience. It is a personal, individualistic journey that you go through with that work, and not everyone is gonna get the same thing out of the show. Just like in the series, so many different worlds, so many different interpretations of the same broad concepts: growing up, coming of age, death, nihilism, meaning. I think there is a rich beauty in that. Ultimately, the show ends with the same tone and the same style as everything else in the story. It's open-ended, it's not quite finalized, just like how I feel about this series as a whole. Sonny Boy is an open-ended anime with open to so many different interpretations and meanings. We don't know where the story goes. We don't know how Naruto ends up. Maybe he just goes back to being a fucking loser. Maybe Nozomi will just start to hate him. We don't know. And that ambiguity is undoubtedly scary and terrifying, just like growing up. Change is scary because we don't know what will happen in the future. We don't know what the future holds for us. But just like our main characters, in that black void of nothingness, of questions and mysteries beyond our wildest imaginations, the only thing that we have to hold on to is ourselves, is our past. And if we can recognize the change inside us, if we can recognize how much we have grown, then I think the future can be anything. Of course, these are just words strung together in order to try to make an interpretation, but ultimately it pales in comparison to the entirety of the work. It is impossible to capture the work in just a few short sentences, and it will always be like that. And as humans, we understand this. And so we made a single word, a word that encapsulates the feeling of not understanding the work, but still being touched to your very core. Oh yeah, art. その瞬間からダウンロードされた全て許されたここにいてもいい